Hey, wanted to do another story time, so here I am. This is the third chapter of The Son of Garcel, Escaping Whitestone. Despite Uncle Ralph's mocking, I procure a successful disguise as a poor farm boy on his way out of the city in the morning. However, once I reach the main gate with hundreds of people pushing and shoving in different directions, I wish I had given it more thought. My hands stay in my pockets where my money is, for there are plenty of little street scum dodging around. An old man pushes past me toward the gate, glancing over me like I was nothing more than a beggar brat. I take after my father, who was a tall and strong warrior. If everyone in the kingdom were not perpetually aware of my age, I could easily pass off for 20. I am tempted to straighten my back and adopt a more solemn expression, but instead I just push past him, leaving him to contemplate his behavior. This is a truly demeaning process. I am greatly relieved when I am past the gate. Using my head, I cut into the fields that lead up to the main road through the forest. I do not want anyone looking out the window to see a figure exactly the height of the prince walking directly into the forest. But I grow tired of slouching and maintaining a grim expression. My feet take on a new pace. The sooner I reach the forest, the sooner I can leave these dreadful rags and dress as a hunter. I am far from an elitist and have a great aversion to the snobs who strut around castles and courts, but I have been raised as a prince. I walk, talk, and look like one. Being dressed in rags seems highly unlikely for someone with the appearance and disposition as I. The forest is quiet. When I reach it, I follow along the tree line until I come to a huge tree with deep cuts and bruises in the bark. Ralph instructed me to go here, where he will have sent some provisions for my trip. Dreno! I exclaim, to see my favorite steed waiting for me, saddled, with a couple bundles containing my new costume, likely some food and weapons. A thrill charges through my veins when I realize that I am leaving, without a single power to stop me, far from my family and the perpetually generous and angelic voices in my head. This is my adventure, and I can make it whatever I choose. Untying and leading Dreno by the reins into the forest, I dress into my new and preferred costume and set out into the heart of the forest. Following the old slave path, I ride with speed through the trail. Truly, I am in no hurry, but speed allows me a rush of excitement that distracts me from thinking about my mother. The trail will take me 6 days into the forest until I reach the old rebel camp. I hope not to reach that during the night because I have heard numerous morbid stories of that place. Passing that accursed place, I will reach a cliff that links up with a main road. I will follow that until I reach the Colis Valley, a populated area of wealth and political power. There once was a mighty prince named Garcel, taller than all men in the land. He could smash a giant oak with his broadsword and squash 1,000 skulls with his hand. The sound of his voice filled halls with bated silence, and his shouts melted stout hearts without fail. The only weakness that Prince Garcel had was that the love in his heart would prevail. My mother sang that one, sappy to its core, but it was all I can think of right now. I searched my memory for any other song to sing. The perpetual silence or infrequent cawing of an unmelodious bird is causing my mind to spin circles around me. There must be some other nursery song my mother would sing to me. I am stumped. I trudge on in silence for another 2 hours at least. This silence is an irritating pest. The more I allow it to persist, the harder it is to be rid of it. My joints and muscles ache from excessive riding. I begin to see silence as a ravenous monster that will never be satisfied. I think I am beginning to feel lonely. Even Namila, my young cousin's high-pitched giggle, is enviable in this silence. Days pass in this dullness. I must be getting close by now. Shadows are growing long, and a chilly breeze passes me. I shiver. I must prepare for the night, pausing at a large boulder before the dim shadows lead down a hill and I will lose my way. I shiver again, but I am not cold. This is curious. I dismount and huddle up against the massive boulder and try not to let my imagination go free. It doesn't work. I can hear women screaming, metal grinding, and men bellowing out nonsense in slurred voices. Firelight rises up into the trees above me, and evil shadows dance in the fading tongues. Then, behind a large boulder, a child hides, crying and shivering in terror. I realize this is the old rebel camp, and here's where Brella found my mother, a young girl trying to hide from her abusers in a war camp. The last person I wish to imagine is her. I try to force my imagination back to those terrifying images, but instead all I can see is her. All I can feel is her. Now, I am the child shivering and hiding from the terrors down below.
Thank you. I'll see you next time.